dozen teenagers have been butchered in this old and spooky house. Let's split up and look around.
I suggest that we ponder this a bit longer before running off. Are you coming? No.
That's the classic.
Oof, somebody fired the maid.
Yeah, somebody did. The whole family maid was killed along with the rest of them.
We've never been able to escape it. The tropes and the cliches that we've seen 1,000 times.
No one knows what happened to her. They never found his body.
They found him naked on the beach, holding the chopped off head of another camper.
They get better with time, not worse.
The caller is in the house. The calls are coming from the house.
So I think we kind of want some of those cliches. We want that familiarity.
Every February 14th, Harry comes back to town just for someone to kill.
It enhances rather than reduces the fun when we see the characters doing the things that people do in horror films.
Is anybody out there?
Horror fans are more educated on tropes than the average film viewer. I think that we come in with a knowledge base. We know what a harbinger is.
You're all doomed.
We know what a final girl is. Our favorite thing is when someone takes those rules and surprises us.
What are the most common horror tropes and cliches? You know, they all relate to things that we may have felt when we were 2, 3, 4. About what the things that we were scared of or that unsettled us. So that's what always becomes a trope, because it has such a pull on it.
Gary, don't even think about it. Gary!
I told you I heard someone.
One of the most important tropes of any horror movie is the protagonist doing something completely illogical.
You know the part in scary movies where somebody does something really stupid and everybody hates them for it? This is it.
You can't have a horror movie if your character does the right thing. They have to make the either brave or stupid decision to stick around.
1980s, we always had the trope of the girl running up the stairs when she should have been running out the front door. The killer is chasing me, and so, oh my God, I'm running up the stairs, and now I'm trapped upstairs and can't go anywhere from there. And so that became a trope in itself. For a long time, you know, most of a decade of slasher films, we were fine with that. We were just like, yeah, she should have run out the door. And there was something fun about knowing that. But there reached a point where it became more irritating than anything.
Some of the more nonsensical tropes that will absolutely lead to better scenes and a better story are things like, let's split up.
Everybody out in pairs. Look everywhere you can think of, even the empty cabins.
A terrible idea in a real scenario. In a film, leads you to a bunch of other scenes in which you get to enjoy these characters on their own. You have the opportunity to see how each character will act when they make the really stupid decision to separate and decide to go their separate ways so the killer can focus on picking them off individually. The absolute worst choice they could possibly make is the one that leads to the best story.
Here, Cheryl, why don't you go down and check, make sure.
Scotty, I'm not going down there.
Okay, you cowards. I'll go.
Horror fans will watch a movie and say, if I was in this film, I would never have done that, and that's why I'd live. Fans are always critiquing the choices of the characters in the movie.
I know someone's out there.
As if things would be different if it was them. This is delusion. It always makes me think of, you know, the Mike Tyson quote that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the nose. Everyone has a plan until Ghostface sticks a butcher knife through their chest. You may think that you're smarter than the characters in a horror film, but, you know, if you were in that situation, you would inevitably find yourself making the same dumb choices because they're basic human choices.
I'm gonna go check this place out.
Whoa, just one damn minute.
There's a psycho killer on the loose, and you want to go traipsing around this gigantic mansion? Have you ever actually seen the stab movies?
So at some point in every subgenre cycle, the tropes will become cliche. We will get sick of seeing that same slasher done over and over and over again. And at that point, it will usually become a horror comedy.
Hello? See, if that was me, I would be out of there.
We will have somebody poke fun of it or call attention to it, like a scream.
Hello, Sydney.
That falls at the end of the prior slasher cycle, and suddenly we're now all aware of it.
The Scream franchise parodies horror movies.
Watch out.
Behind you, kid! But it also gives you what you want in those horror movies, and it also tells you what you're watching while you're watching it.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it is, okay? It's a dumbass white movie about some dumbass white girls getting their white asses cut the fuck up.
And as the Scream series goes on, each subsequent sequel does that more and more and more and more.
What the hell are you doing? Being Gail Weathers. What the hell are you doing?
I am Gail Weathers.
Until you get to like 2022, 2023.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Not that one.
And you have Scream movies that are basically about the Scream movies and about people that watch the Scream movies and horror fans.
I told you I don't know these movies. I don't ask me about something I do know. Ask me about It Follows. Ask me about Hereditary. Ask me about The Witch.
But it's also a Scream movie, but it's also a slasher film. I don't know where they can take it from there.
You got stabbed 1 billion times, got dumped by your famous wife, and crawled into a bottle. I think it's safe to say you're on the suspect list.
Well, maybe you're the killer. Because that cut deep.
With the 2 new Screams that we have done, I think we've had that same type of ability to look back since the original Scream came out and be like, Scream came out 25 years ago. What has changed in the state of horror since then? Where are we as a world audience?
So we've had 9 Ghostface killers so far.
9, but I thought in the movies.
Forget about the movies. The movies don't matter.
We are able to play with a little bit of the tropes and the cliches and the state of horror as it is right now. One of the most proud sequences that I have been a part of is the sequence where we killed Dylan Minnette's character, which is named after Wes Craven. And that is playing on the tropes of, you know, if you open a door, you better be careful when you close it, because then, you know, Ghostface will be standing right behind that ready to kill you. I think we had no less than 7 doors that he opens and closes before we actually get to the moment where he sees an open door.
Mom?
And then choosing to just simply close the door and then have Ghostface be in the room with you. And getting into that death against the door, which now we end up playing on another trope, which is instead of a jump scare, we're now into this slow push of the knife through the neck. And we just stay on that shot for a while. We played on so many tropes on this, and this is all stuff that came before us that we could just subvert expectations, do something new with, think how audiences think this is going to go, and then go in a different direction with it.
We have to finish the movie. Who gives a fuck about movies?
Sometimes when a person acts wild and crazy, well, wild and crazy things happen to them.
They do? Horny teenagers must die. Nobody who is having premarital sex should be suffered to live. This is like the abstinence education of conspiracy theories.
Punish!
Like, we want all of our teenagers to be afraid to have sex in the back of cars. It's just an outrageous puritanical American concept that makes me furious.
So it's thought that the horny teenagers must die thing came out of the 1980s.
Hey!
Robin Hood to the rescue! Woohoo!
But we were definitely seeing that back in the 1970s, even in the 60s.
True love.
Teens have always been horny. It's just part of human nature. And so in the 70s, we started kind of pegging them off and really kind of using them as cannon fodder in a lot of horror films.
It's a very Christian cultural belief, and you don't have to be Christian to know it or feel it, that if you're having too good of a time, you're gonna get punished.
Movies like The Omen and The Fury and Changeling and The Exorcist were adults for the most part. And because adults were at the center of the narrative, it felt more important. But by the time you throw kids into it, they're not supposed to know what to do. Which in the beginning is cool, but then after a while, it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. They're easy to kill.
Whatever is successful that's out there also puts a pressure on you. And that happened with Psycho 2. Richard Franklin and I were afraid we weren't violent enough. And that's why we put in the 2 kids making love in the basement.
What's that? What? The sound in the next room.
You just stoned.
That's that have sex and die thing that had become a cliche, or was on its way to being a cliche then.
Quit. Quit now.
Quit? Why would I want to quit?
Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed.
Friday the 13th was the first independent slasher film that got a major wide release by a big studio. Made a gargantuan amount of money and took the genre in some of the directions that we now think of as cliches. In particular, the idea that if you have sex, you're going to get killed.
We weren't doing anything. We were just messing around.
In Friday the 13th, Pamela Voorhees overtly says, the counselors were making love when my son drowned. They weren't paying attention to him, and now I have to kill them. Well, people liked it because teenagers like watching teenagers have sex. They like watching teenagers get murdered. It's fun, it's exciting. So it just it was a successful trope. They repeated it in part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. Nobody ever got sick of it.
But it kind of became like an endearing thing, like an endearing trope. It's just like, oh, those horny teens, like, they're gonna be the next to go. But it wasn't like you were actually sitting there being like, yes, they deserve to die. That's right. Boo on you.
You can deliver these same tropes and same cliches where we don't even really react because it just seems lazy, like they're not even trying. They're like running through a checklist, like here's all the stuff that we have to do. And then there are ways you can have fun with it. Like, yeah, sure, you're going to have a guy with a mask kill a bunch of horny teenagers. But you can have a lot of fun with, like, who are those horny teenagers? You look at the 4th Friday the 13th, and it's like one of them is Crispin Glover.
God, I'm horny.
Who is delivering such a deeply strange performance.
Hey, Ted, where's that corkscrew, that fancy corkscrew for the wine bottle? Ted?
And in one scene, dances. And it does a dance that no human being has ever done before. And that brings so much life to the movie because just casting this guy is such an unexpected choice.
I think you are incredible.
There's something odd going on in my building.
Oh, sinister conspiracies. Wouldn't it be amazing if the people in charge of us were smart enough to be able to ever keep a secret? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be amazing if there were these old families that were really running everything behind closed doors as opposed to inbreeding themselves into a stupor? It's one of my favorites because it's probably not true in real life, but it adds such a beautiful flavor to a movie.
He isn't my husband. It's someone who looks like him. He's an imposter.
Those are some of my favorite movies because they really connect horror to social concerns in a very grounded and impactful way.
Today, everything seemed the same, but it wasn't. It was a nightmare.
People are changing. They're becoming less human. It's happening all around us.
Phil Kaufman's remake of Body Snatchers and The Thing are two of my very favorite horror movies ever for that reason, is they really get into paranoia.
Trust's a tough thing to come by these days.
Who's that?
And the other, and not knowing whether even you are not what you think you are, much less your best friend or the person next to you, and this notion of paranoia.
And people get that social anxiety in a new community and they feel like they're on the outside of things. And it can feel to the individual like everybody's in a cult or everyone's a Satanist. Because there's a vocabulary that you're not used to and things like that. And so horror, like Midsommar, will take that idea and blow it up into this full balloon with the tension at the end until you're just waiting for everything to explode.
There is always something going on. You have to look closer, all right? What about this guy?
Paranoia is a crucial element of horror. Not knowing where the threat is. If you know where the threat is coming from, it's not scary. It's a lack of knowing. So something like Hot Fuzz that's really about who's in on this conspiracy, who is part of the killing spree. And you find out it's most of the town.
Hot Fuzz is riffing so much on, like, The Wicker Man.
Are you the landlord here? Aye, I'm Alder McGregor. And you must be the policeman from the mainland.
Police officer, yes, I'm Nicholas Ainham.
And, you know, creepy movies about small English villages.
I think you all ought to know that I am here on official business.
And the ultimate reveal that it leans into this folk horror direction where there's this conspiracy of all the normal people in the town. They're all working together with this sinister plan. Rosemary's Baby is like the other perfect example.
Oh, I was just talking about you.
Favorably, I hope.
Where you have this group of seemingly normal people, like your neighbors. And I think it's really good when it's like older people who seem really innocent, like they could be your grandparents or whatever.
We're your friends, Rosemary. There's nothing to be afraid of, Rosemary. Honest and truly, there isn't.
And then they are actually involved in something really evil.
When anyone can be bad and morality is unclear, then you are truly terrified.
This is no dream. This is really happening.
You're truly terrified because anything can happen to you. No one can be trusted.
Oh, God.
We got a $36,000 motorhome here. We don't need any restaurants. We don't need any showers. We got our own. We don't need anything from anybody. We are self-contained, babe.
My favorite The Townsfolk Are In On It movie is Race with the Devil, where we see Peter Fonda and Warren Oates RVing. I think they're on their way to a ski trip. On the way, they happen to see a satanic sacrifice.
They witness something that they shouldn't witness.
No joke, no bullshit. Murder!
And from then on, they're marked, and they're just on the run and being chased by, like, a collective of crazy Satanists.
Peter Fonda at that time kind of represented Americana in some way. An Easy Rider, he was the manifestation of the counterculture, and he gets killed by the squares. In Race with the Devil, it's the mid-'70s, and he's kind of become the culture.
I'll tell you, you're about the straightest guy I ever met in my life.
Oh, hell, you're drunk, Frank.
You know, he's married, he owns a business, he and his friends like drinking martinis in their $30,000 trailer.
Quack, quack.
And now, the crazy hippies are out to get him.
Oh, this looks nice.
In the scariest scene in the movie, they stop at a trailer park that they think is safe.
Do you feel like a swim? Yeah. Good idea. Let's do.
She puts on her bathing suit, she goes to the pool. She's like, I just need to relax. I need to get some cool water on this hot day. And everybody at the pool just stares at her. She's like, okay, this is even bigger than we thought, and it's everywhere.
It's like if Deliverance was Satanist, right? And so the movie is funny and absurd, but it's also genuinely scary, because it's just the world of the other. So I think this notion of not knowing who to trust, of feeling like you're the only person who is sane in a world that is insane, is just great fodder for horror.
One staple of horror films is the book that should never be opened, because to read it would be to drive yourself mad and unleash evil in the world. Presumably, the book in question is something by Dean Koontz.
This ties into a lot of mythology and folklore.
This book is designed to raise the devil.
The idea that you're coming across an old page or tome or something from a forgotten time, a forgotten faith, a forgotten cult or religion of some sort that holds all this power that people of this time are not ready for.
Can you lift that?
H.P. Lovecraft used to write about the Necronomicon.
Could I see that before you put it away?
The book that's going to give you all the unholy demon knowledge you need to make people bend to your will and reality bend to your will.
Shut up!
And then, of course, we have The Evil Dead.
Oh, God.
Where you literally have a copy of the Necronomicon sitting in the basement.
Look at this.
You have like the magic book being uncovered and then recited and raising all hell. Everyone seems to believe it started with Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. Certainly pulls it off with respect and maximum amperage, but what I remember was a film called Equinox from 1970.
Wow, this is some piece of literature.
Seems to be a very veritable Bible of evil.
The Necronomicon itself pops up in countless movies. It even is its own movie. There's an amazing film from the 90s called Necronomicon, Book of the Dead, in which the titular Necronomicon is featured in every story.
The secrets of the Necronomicon do not come cheap. This is going to cost you your life.
Also, one of my absolute favorite films of all time, Lamberto Bava's Demons, also features a cursed book that is found inside the tomb of Nostradamus.
Nostradamus. Sounds like a rock group to me.
Yeah, top of the pops in 1500.
Well, what's it say?
It's in Latin. I can't figure it out. Yes, I can.
That when read aloud causes demons to rise up from the ground and also from out of a theater screen to attack everyone.
Son of a bitch! Shit!
We see it all the time in kids' movies as well. Even when I was a kid, I remember watching the Care Bears movie. It's about a cursed book.
Who are you? How do you know my name?
I am a spirit, Nicholas. Your friend.
It's a scary-ass cursed book in it, too.
Make them stop laughing. Make them stop.
Only you can do that. Here. Teach them a lesson.
But it's this idea of knowledge is power, but it can also be your downfall, that there's this potential to read something that is so detrimental to your psyche that it can somehow curse you or take you down.
There's no turning back.
And even beyond cursed books, to me, it's cursed media as well. Like, I'll watch a cursed VHS, a cursed recording, a vinyl that will kill you. But I think in a larger scope, you know, what is the power of art, and can things cross a threshold into reality from when you read them or when you listen to them?
How goes it?
What the hell you think you're doing?
I'm from Appalachia, and I remember seeing Murderous Rednecks when I was a kid and thinking, like, is that supposed to be us?
Don't play games with these people.
And then you realize, yeah, that is supposed to be us. It came out of 1970s. We had this huge redneck explosion in the 1970s.
Louder.
And after Deliverance, it's the idea of they're kind of the villains. Then they get chainsaws. And they become cannibals.
I eat the brains of your kids' kids.
And it's all hill folk, and they're isolated and clearly inbred. And oh boy, somehow I both loved watching and also felt the pain of these movies simultaneous. So yeah, that is still a trope that we see. I remember being in college and watching Wrong Turn and realizing that that was supposed to take place really close to my hometown. And then suddenly being like, oh gosh, is this what the rest of the world thinks about us? Oh, I don't care. It's fun. Look at him. It's fun. Wrong Turn's fun.
I say this as a proud member of the Coastal Elite myself. The terror of chainsaw-wielding rednecks is really the terror of coastal elites who are in a panic at the thought of being somewhere without Wi-Fi. It is fascinating that there are so many movies about cannibalistic, human skin-wearing hillbillies when actually, you know, I think probably serial killers wildly prefer the city because there's a deeper victim pool.
Deep in the heart of Texas, it's 12 midnight. Ain't nothing going on.
The movie, when anybody asks me if there's a movie that they haven't seen that they should see, I'm like, you should see Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It takes the city people being menaced by hillbilly trope and turns it on its head. And so I'm from Eastern Kentucky. I'm a hillbilly, so that movie really spoke to me on so many levels.
We are in hillbilly country now, boys.
College kids in the car, they're going to this lake house, they're having a great time. They're all like a little dumb, you know.
I'm in a car full of morons.
The first thing they see is Tucker and Dale, who are these sort of hillbilly hicks who you think, you're like, oh, could they possibly be dangerous?
Did you see the way those guys looked at us?
And you slowly realize that not only are Tucker and Dale not dangerous.
Yeah, we need anything else?
Pickled eggs, 6-pounder.
They're very sweet and they really support each other.
Friends forever. Best friends forever.
And they're just really good guys, and one has a crush on one of the college girls, but of course she'll never talk to him.
Are you out of your mind, Tucker? These are college girls, okay? They grew up with vacation homes and guys like me fixing their toilets.
You gotta have some faith in yourself, man.
Oh, good, look, your friends are here. Hi.
And the college kids end up being the evil of the movie. They're the people who are attacking them and also accidentally killing themselves many times along the way. They're very accident-prone, those college kids.
Something that Tucker and Dale versus Evil did well was that they showed that the point of views of people greatly vary based on fear. It's about personal bias.
No.
Don't cry.
A lot of the perspectives of horror are specific, and it does create tropes. So when you just subvert those,
It's the pancakes. You hate pancakes. I'm gonna make you something else.
you're subverting what the person thinks is going to happen. I think that shift is what creates the comedy.
Officer, do we look like a couple of psycho killers to you?
Well, it's hard to say. Looks can be deceiving.
Telling you, Pete, this is bullshit. This really sucks. Just do it. Fix it, man. Those cunts aren't gonna wait all night. Oh, fuck. This is a mess.
The one that drives me the most crazy is the car not starting. Come on. Like, what else can we do there?
This car ain't going nowhere.
The number of times I've gotten into my car and it just doesn't start is like 3. But I feel like in every single Friday the 13th movie and every single low-hanging fruit horror, something terrible is going to happen to your car.
Oh, great, a flat tire.
And I think maybe that's because it's another one of those things that's so familiar to our day-to-day consciousness because we live in a car-based society.
Some of the stuff around our automobiles and the way they're used are still employed in really exciting, fresh ways in horror films. The old cliche about, the car won't start, that's faded away. But now all the cars have backup cameras in them, so you can see what's behind you. And that is put to ingenious use in the Joe Lynch film, Suitable Flesh, where the demon-possessed villain is behind the car, and Heather Graham is, backing over him and going forward and backing over him again, and we can see it all playing out on the backup camera.
We played with the car trope, to be honest, in Ready or Not, when we did the OnStar beat.
Good evening. This is Justin. Your call may be monitored for
People are trying to kill me. Can you please help me?
When Grace is in a car driving away, calling for help.
Can you call the police, please?
Yes, I'd be happy to help you with that.
And she's like, I need to get away from this family. And then the voice from the OnStar comes on and says,
Ma'am, it says here that the car was reported stolen. I'm sorry, but I have to shut it down.
No, what? No, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me?
And using that technology against the means of escape, I think that's kind of like a fun way of just playing with those tropes.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, you go fuck yourself, Justin!
The Old Dark House is something that we've really had as long as film has existed. I mean, Georges Méliès was doing it. It's always been there. So in a way, it's like it was a trope even from the minute the first camera was rolling, practically, in France. What's fun is seeing how it's kind of evolved over the years and how we've sort of adapted the Old Dark House into meaning something different every single time.
Welcome to Prairie Blossoms, the name my husband and I chose for the estate.
The creepy house is something that everybody can identify with, that shows up over and over and over again, I think, for a variety of reasons. Talking about the psyche, the house represents the person. If you're dreaming about your house, you're dreaming about yourself. And the idea that somebody breaking into your identity and causing havoc, I think, really touches something in the root of human fear.
So James Whale's Old Dark House 1932, this is a pre-code film, and it is making fun of Old Dark House movies before these are even really a thing.
Knock again, louder.
I should have thought that was loud enough to wake the dead.
On a hideously dark and stormy night, a group of travelers who represent a mix of the British social hierarchy.
I thought you were never going to open that door. Bye.
And encounter a seamy side of life.
I am wanted by the police.
That most of them never would have imagined existed.
Can you conceive of anybody living in a house like this if they didn't have to?
Brazen, lolling creatures in silks and satins. They fill the house with laughter and sin, laughter and sin.
These characters that are stuck in this horror together.
Madness came. We are all touched with it a little, you see.
Are so weird and curious and from another time, and yet I could see myself in there when I watched that movie, because I watched it during the pandemic, right in the heart of one of my darkest moments, and I remember watching this film and just going, oh my God, Whale was such a genius.
Those lights, they gave me quite a start. I suppose it's a storm.
On the contrary, we make our own electric light here, and we are not very good at it. Pray don't be alarmed if they go out altogether.
James Whale had mostly lost his ability to take horror movies seriously very early on.
My sister was on the point of arranging these flowers.
He had seen all the tricks and understood how they worked, and he couldn't help but want to turn them on their heads. That's kind of fascinating right there, that, as early as the 1930s, we already understood that horror films often have a very basic template.
Did you hear that? I did hear something.
And it's possible to point a finger at, now this thing is happening, now that thing is happening, and you've seen this before and you know how it's going to end.
The light's gone out. I suppose they'll stay out this time. Now we should be miserable all the evening.
Which I think is kind of fun because it brings the audience in on the scare.
I don't think the creepy house will ever go out of fashion because houses are inherently creepy. And then also there's everything that you and your family sort of manifest in a house. How many creepy house movies are just as much about kind of family tragedy or family dysfunction or violent acts?
You're the one that wanted a house. This is it, so just shut up. You bastard.
In Halloween, the house is not creepy per se, but the inherent terror comes from the fact that a monster is coming into your house. Michael Myers is coming into the house. Halloween is about the desecration of the American home.
If we're thinking about the haunted house as kind of like the classical American motif that encapsulates the horror of the country's creation, Texas Chainsaw Massacre resituates that from a house that's haunted by ghosts of the past to a house that's starving and that is a cannibalistic slaughterhouse, in order to comment on the byproducts of American capitalism and industrialization.
And then you can have very modern buildings evoke something completely different. Like in Creepshow, they're creeping up on you. He's in the super high-tech kind of, you imagine a high-rise kind of building. And there's something inherently creepy about that too, about something that feels so separate from human beings and from nature.
You'll never get in here. Never.
So it's like, what is an old dark house movie? It changes meaning over the years. It's a cliche, but it keeps adapting. It's kind of like a virus, in the horror film. It changes shape over and over again. It keeps popping up, so that's why it's still with us today.
No matter what you do, it won't stop. It can't be stopped.
The old cliche, you see someone in a panic sprinting away and the killer is walking slowly behind them, and yet nevertheless he catches up to them 3 cuts later and buries a hatchet in the back of your head. This was a thing present in horror films going all the way back to The Mummy. The joke about The Mummy was, oh no, here comes the mummy, we all better walk a little faster. There's still something about us running and the killer walking that remains a terrifying image, even if when you think about it, you're like, yeah, they're gonna get away.
It would be really silly to see Mike Myers running full speed. It's better that he's just lumbering. It's scarier. It's just scarier that somebody puts 0 effort into stalking you and they actually wind up catching you.
Michael Myers is a metaphor for death, and you can't outrun death. I think that it also speaks to this supernatural energy that a lot of these killers have.
Stop! He's dead. No, he's not. Look at him. He's still breathing. Get away from him. But he stopped breathing. No!
Even if a character is not explicitly supernatural, the fact that he's able to catch up with the victim no matter what gives him a sense of being bigger than life, having some supernatural powers that no matter what you do, you won't be able to fight against.
There's a really good joke about it in Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, in a way that's super smart because it's this guy training to be a slasher killer.
You have no idea how much cardio I have to do. It's ridiculous. You gotta be able to run like a freaking gazelle without getting winded. Plus, there's that whole thing of making it look like you're walking. Everybody else is running the rest, so I gotta stay with them.
And he has to master all those tricks.
Copperfield, Houdini, sleight of hand, escape tactics. She thinks she saw me. Maybe not, she's not sure. Just want to get her a little paranoid, just plant the seed that there might be some trouble coming.
That's such a good movie to look at if you want to deconstruct the slasher.
You got your red herring all worked out.
I think so. I think so. She spends a lot of time at the library, so I was gonna do it there.
Because it takes every single one of those tropes and then it makes fun of it.
Oh my God.
Rule number 1, nobody gets away. You mess that one up, and not only is it a complete breakdown, it's really embarrassing.
The beginning of the 80s and the late 70s was really the beginning of horror movies centered on like youth doing things in groups.
Hey, Scotty, what's this place like anyway?
Well, the guy that's renting it says it's an old place. A little run down, but it's right up in the mountains.
I don't think you really had that a bunch previously, so it wouldn't be a bunch of people like renting a house together.
Cheerful. Yeah, it has a nice homey feeling.
Until kind of slasher cinema and Evil Dead and movies about like teens and 20-somethings going off and doing things together on short trips.
Mother Joe, where are you, girl? These kind of movies are 10 little Indians. You know, one by one they get killed. And it's always a group of friends as opposed to a family, because if it's a family, it's intergenerational. You have a husband and wife, you have children, nobody wants to see the children get killed. It just makes it harder to tell the story. So a bunch of friends, great, I can kill all of them. Nobody cares. I've never said it so simply, but it was quite liberating.
Cabin in the Woods comes out, and I think all of us got scared that we would never be able to make a horror movie again. Because it was sort of the horror movie to end all horror movies.
What the hell was that?
It used all of the tropes. You have these very quintessential teenagers. You have the jock, the nerd, the hot babe, the virgin, and they all are going out to this cabin in the woods. And you keep cutting back and forth to this sort of corporate headquarters underground. And they're making bets and they're, you know, doing work jokes. And you don't exactly know what's going on until you realize that they're orchestrating all of it.
This is airballed. We need the Japanese crew to get it done.
And they're orchestrating these things all over the world, in fact. And they have to do it because it's keeping these massive gods underground appeased. But that is sort of irrelevant. It is more about them making the horror movie, them coming up with like who is gonna be the bad guy and them sort of orchestrating this like, oh, we're gonna put stuff in her hair bleach to make her dumber because now she's a blonde. The hair dye.
Dumb blonde. Very artistic.
We're going to pump certain chemicals in to make them horny.
Engaging pheromone mists.
We're gonna do all sorts of stuff to make them live out this horror movie fantasy. What the horror fans really responded to was the whiteboard full of options of things that could kill them.
Congratulations, go to maintenance.
Everything from like mermen to, you know, murdering Hicks.
That's not fair. I had zombies too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you had zombies. But this is zombie redneck torture family, see? They're entirely separate species.
I'm sure most horror fans did this like me.
There's always next year.
When I watched it at home, I paused it so I could read everything on the whiteboard because someone took a lot of time to come up with all of those tropes and put them neatly on a whiteboard, and I appreciate that as a fan.
The Final Girl. I love The Final Girl. One of the reasons I love horror is because very early on you had strong female role models. This was a genre where women could survive and fight back and fight ugly and win. And I think that is empowering on every level. Playing a final girl is one of the greatest joys of my life.
The Final Girl is terminology that was coined by Carol Clover in her book Men, Women, and Chainsaws, which was reviewing the horror films of the 70s, the slashers in particular, and is sort of attempting to create taxonomies and categories for the tropes, for the sort of beats in the storytelling that appear again and again and again and again in all kinds of slashers. And The Final Girl was one of the major ones.
The final girl is classically the smart girl of the group.
It's tragic. You never go out.
Guys think I'm too smart.
I don't. I think you're wacko. Now you're seeing men behind bushes.
And her wits allow her to survive, to escape the killer, and ultimately take him down. While her friends, who are more the party girls, the girls who are having sex, they usually succumb to the killer.
The final girls of the 70s were always white.
Do as I say! Hurry!
They were always thin.
Wait, little girl.
And they were always virgins. What that really reflects is the same kind of standards for true womanhood that were inscribed in the 19th century.
I guess I'll see you tomorrow in school, huh?
Sure, great.
Okay, bye.
What type of femininity do you perform in order to be taken seriously and be considered of value and worth saving? These are the qualities that allow you to survive.
No, don't do that.
Go to hell!
When I was a young teenager discovering horror movies, I hated school.
Where's your pass? Screw your pass.
I didn't want to go back, and I would look to horror movies, and I would see the final girl, and all her friends are dead, and she has to take down the killer, and she does all that. And I was like, if she can do that, I can survive another day of high school. So, thank you, Final Girl, for that.
Once it hit the mainstream, it got appropriated and sort of turned into something else. So now the final girl is kind of considered this feminist figure. But the original final girls weren't all that feminist in nature. A lot of them got saved by men. That was like part of the trope.
It took me a while to realize, like, the entire concept of the final girl is a little messed up. And really what we should be striving for is the collective, is for the female characters to work together to bring down the killer. And it doesn't have to be, you know, you against your friends. It's either you or your friend who are gonna die, so you better be the smart one. You guys can both be smart. You guys can work together to bring him down.
You are a black character in a horror movie. Prove that you can stay alive. Name one black character that survived a horror movie. You must answer correctly, or you die.
I like tropes to a degree, but tropes, while they can be comfortable and familiar and perfectly harmless and even fun, have an underbelly. They really do, I think, reveal societal feelings about entire populations. If you kill off the only representative of an entire population, and you do it casually, and you do it for a jump scare, or you do it so you shall be avenged.
I'm so sorry you were murdered, Thomas. I miss you.
I miss you too.
You know, why are you doing that? Could you add maybe another black character to offset that balance?
Yo, Freddy! Where you hiding at, you burnt face pussy? Hey, we should find the others first. You think you hot shit with the little mute kid, don't you? Well, let me see you come get a piece of me.
Often, I feel like that solo black character is usually the masculine man who's like, oh, I can do it. And then they die. That creates more fear, I think, for the rest of the characters, because that's the power, that's the strength, like that is what's represented through that person. But then that doesn't allow for like authentic responses.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I know a lot of men who get scared And I think not allowing those characters to like feel human creates that trope, because you're like, oh, this doesn't feel real. I'm very cautious as a writer of that, just knowing the world that we live in and kind of having an expectation of how audiences are going to receive what they're seeing.
The blackening is really cool because it is looking at the horror genre as a whole, but it's fully reframing it through a black lens.
Yo, when did we become the kind of people that walk into dark-ass basement? Hey, damn it!
A group of friends, they're going to celebrate Juneteenth at this cabin in the woods.
Is it just me, or is this giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Oh, no, I never seen that film. White people scare me.
And there they find the skate.
What's this? Oh, hell no.
And the game has all kinds of, like, racist imagery.
I will spare your lives if you sacrifice the person you deem the blackest to me.
The blackest?
You have 2 minutes to decide.
There's this idea of like what is black and what is not black, and to take that conversation and flip it on its head.
Every single time one of y'all make a joke, it's always, oh, Allison, you white this. Allison, you white that.
To force people to claim and like grab onto the parts of themselves that they feel are the whitest.
I'm gay.
Oh, he always uses
No, and just like my homophobic family member says, gayness is just whiteness wrapped up in a bunch of dicks, and today, I agree.
Was just a very funny way to show the diversity of blackness.
I voted for Trump. What? Twice?
We all do a lot of things that don't necessarily fit in a box of what is black.
It really is black people turning these horror tropes upside down that for all these years with white people, these make no sense.
I'm safe.
Don't say this dumb shit.
We.
Allison.
We.
Oh my God.
We have to split up.
Something I find funny is when people try very hard to not be like stereotypes.
King.
King?
Yeah, King. Because you the one with the gun and you the gangster.
I'm an ex-gangster. I changed my life.
But then there's parts of stereotypes that are just true, and having that balance and being like, no, I don't want to be a stereotype, but also this part of me is pretty stereotypical. And showing that, like, yeah, this person has changed, there's growth, but at the end of the day, yeah, he got a gun.
I knew you had a gun. Wow, that's profiling. Talk about you used it before. On what, the TV, nigga? Move out the way.
Because life is scary. He a black man.
One of the cool things is black films are playing with white horror film tropes, and they're creating new black horror film tropes.
Wait, how do we know we can trust him?
I'm one of the good ones. Oh, that does not help. They all say that.
So it's going to be fun to see how those get turned around in other ways when it comes together as one mix, as, you know, films become more diverse and more opportunities.
What do we do now? Call the cops?
Because society changes, the tropes change with us. The way that we employ them is always reflective of our present concerns. What new monsters might emerge when we revisit and renegotiate the classic tropes.
No man could take 6 slugs. I tell you, this isn't a man.
I saw some lights up ahead. There's probably a farmhouse up there. So I'll go and check.
Shut up, you bitch-hog.
The book speaks of a spiritual presence, thing of evil, that roams the forests and the dark bowers of man's domain.
Honey, give this place a chance, okay?
Well, I hope these people aren't too weird.
These things were made by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Ultimately, there's something about kaiju that is very cinematic.
To have a monster that's the size of a skyscraper is just the best thing in the world.
Devours those people, squishes them in the mouth.
He's killing people, but we're rooting for him.
What do we do?
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.